Hey. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Bojoul channel where we are here talking about self-care, beauty, and every and anything that'll help you become the greatest version, more improved version, more powerful version of who you already are. So that's who we are at this Bojoul channel. And I'm so every time I'm ready to record or share some information, I get excited. I get myself prepared because whenever you give, you receive. And whenever you have received so much, your whole mindset should be, how can I pour back? And I get excited because this is my opportunity to give back, pour back, and each one teach one. We strengthen each other. That's why it's very important. Leave your comments, so we can kind of like just build from one another. So this is the Bojoul channel, home of self-care and wellness and every and anything. And when we say every and anything, I say every and anything because these conversations will evolve. They will evolve into relationships. They will evolve into, every area that can directly affect our self-care. And so today, we're going to be talking about addictions. And I think it's so powerful to talk about addictions because we think, when addictions comes to our mind, a lot of times we think about, an addict, somebody we see maybe that's hooked on drugs, or they're hooked on like alcohol, like just the basic things that you can be addicted to. And today I want to talk about these different type of addictions that can adversely affect your self-care journey. A lot of times when we're on our journey, right, it's a lot of things that we're already like hooked into, we're hooked up with. And we wonder why we can't really make progress in terms of our health and our mental health and our wellness and our peace of mind. And a lot of times it's because a lot of things that we are addicted to that we don't realize that is sabotaging our self-care journey. Now, I'm going to just start with the two main, most obvious addictions, which is drugs and alcohol. And a lot of times, this is the only, I wanted to just add this to our list because I know this is going to be the first thing that comes to somebody's mind, like, yeah, I'm not addicted to that, or I'm not addicted to this, or whatever. But for those who are having a struggle with drugs or alcohol, it is it's nothing to be ashamed of, because we all have some type of addiction, and that's the point of this conversation. It's not to pinpoint anybody with anything in specific. It's just to understand that we all have certain types of addictions. And I'm going to go over some of the least obvious ones, but I just wanted to start with the most obvious one, which is like drugs and alcohol. Of course, if you're over drinking, and that if you're abusing drugs, you understand that that's going to affect your decision making. That's going to affect everything concerning your self-care. Because what happens is drugs and alcohol creates an induced sense of relaxation. Like it's like an induced sense of like you kind of throw all of your inhibitions to the wind. It's like you don't really care. It's like you're more free. Some people say when you're using drugs or you're drinking alcohol, that people become more bold. They're able to speak their mind. They're able to do things that they cast their inhibitions to the wind. They just kind of somebody that they're really not, basically, or they would not be under the influence. And so in terms of self-care, it creates a I don't care type of attitude, and an attitude where you're not even concerned. It's not that you're trying not to be concerned, but it's just that when you become inundated with mind altering drugs and alcohol that kind of throw you out of your right sense of mind, self-care is definitely going to be on the back burner. I don't care how good or how great you think you are, just the focus of it all. Not even speaking about the ill effects that it has on your body and on your mind, but just the drive to want to become better. It numbs you. It kind of mutes out your desire to even become better. And sometimes that's why drugs and alcohol is at the top of the list, because a lot of times people going through so much pain and so many difficulties in life, it's like a numbing agent. It's kind of the only time that they don't feel pain or they don't feel the overwhelming stresses that come in life. So that's just, I'm going to put that out there as the first one. I don't even want to say the main one. I'm just saying I put it as the first one on our list because it's sort of kind of the most obvious one. But I'm going to share some least obvious ones, some less obvious ones that can be just as detrimental. Let's go to the next addiction that can sabotage your self-care journey. And I want to say it's going to be food addiction. When we go through these emotional roller coasters in our life, a lot of times food has served to be a comfort agent. They even coined the term for certain foods as comfort foods because they make you feel better. They make you feel safe. They make you feel full. They if you have empty feelings or feelings of worthlessness or different things of that nature, when you fill your belly up, it kind of somehow psychologically it kind of fills that emptiness that you're feeling within. If you fill your belly, it's sort of kind of like you feel one thing and it kind of passes over to the next area of your life, which is your mind or your body or whatever. But all that being said, food addictions can definitely sabotage your self-care journey. And I want to say that I know for myself, I have struggled for years with certain food addictions because I love sugar. I love sugar. And it used to be times on my self-care journey that I would just crash and binge and I'm just going to eat a whole bag of candy or bowls of ice cream, or just not necessarily because I'm hungry or that I wanted it, but because I had this addiction to sugar. I liked that rush that sugar provided me. And so a lot of times on my journey, on my self-care journey, I had to keep restarting. I still am addicted to sugar, but I learned over time that if I stay completely away from it for long stretches of time, it gets better for me. And even when I do have a moment where I need some sugar or I feel like I need that, I don't have to have it every single day. So you find ways to manage the things that you know is sabotaging. Like for me, I'm not gonna buy a lot of sugary items and put them in my house. I'm not gonna fill the house up every single time because I know that's a weakness of mine. And other food addictions is just overeating or just eating when you're not even hungry. And another food addiction is not eating at all. That anorexic or bulimic mindset where you're not eating at all, or you're eating and you're regurgitating, those are addictions. And sometimes people can sit back and they can judge these different type of behaviors, but it's still addictions. It's still something going on in your mind that's making you feel that you need this to feel a certain way, and you continue to go back to it. Like, in the world of psychology, they call anorexia and bulimia a disease. For the sake of this conversation, I'm going to refer to it as an addiction, because whatever pulls you in a certain direction, even when you don't want to go, even when a part of your mind is telling you this is not good for me and you go anyway, I consider that an addiction. That's just how we're going to define it in this conversation. And those type of things can definitely, or even eating when you're sad, eating when you're mad, not eating when you're mad, not eating when you're sad. Still an addiction that can sabotage your self-care journey. When you're not eating, that means you're not getting the nutritional values that your body needs to sustain itself. When you're overeating, and oftentimes when you're overeating, you're still not getting the nutritional value, because most of the time when we're overeating, you're not overeating on healthy foods. You're overeating on things that was nutritionally void from the beginning. So that food addiction is another one. Here we go. Here go another less obvious, least obvious one, is a digital addiction. When you're trying to when you're always on your smartphone, when you always have to be on social media checking in, it's a thing. It is a thing. And you find yourself on your phone, you like this, like every second. I have started to notice even in myself. I will go places with my girlfriends, or I'm having a conversation with somebody, or maybe having a meal with somebody, and I'm always checking my phone, and I'm always looking and trying to see what's going on, and like what it can set. And I'm gonna tell you how it can sabotage your self-care journey, because with social media, right, is really a lot of comparison going on in social media. So you're looking at this person's lifestyle, you're looking at this person's body, you're looking at this person's relationship, you're looking at this person's success or whatever at work, or whatever their accomplishments are, and you compare. It's just human nature. You're gonna compare. You relate that. You look at yourself. Even if you don't verbalize it, if something goes on in your mind, like, oh, okay. And constantly doing that. First of all, with social media, the attention that you give to social media is crazy. Like, I remember when I was younger, my father, he used to always tell us to get off of the television. We used to be sitting in front of the television like we were glued. The same way the kids are glued to their tablets and their social media today. Or they're playing these games they're like, for hours. My granddaughter, I have to put her out here. My granddaughter is 8 years old. If I give her my phone, she go on this little app or whatever, some game or whatever, and I promise you, I could give it to her at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. If I don't take it from her, she will be up all night. When I say all night, I'm talking about 12 noon till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Like, if I don't stop her, like, only way she stops is if Grandma, my phone died. And I say, I'm glad it did. Or now when I realize that she's like that, I give her a certain amount of time and I take it. And that's an 8-year-old now. But adults, we don't even see it like that. We may stop and go and stop and start and stop and start because we got little other responsibilities. But being addicted to digital platforms are definitely sabotaging your self-care journey. Because here we go. In your self-care journey, right? It's time that we need to be in solitude. We need time to plan. We need time to meditate. We need time to reflect. You don't have that type of time when you're constantly on social media and on these digital platforms. You just don't. You're always strolling. You're always scrolling. Me, I used to sleep with my phone in my bed. Now, I take my phone and I take it off my bed. It's a complete difference. Because if it's on my bed, I just roll over, or it could beep or whatever. And I'm just constantly, I'm constantly connected. You have to disconnect. I'm telling you. Mentally, it sabotages your self-care journey. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's easy to say, oh, somebody addicted to drugs and alcohol, but you're addicted to your phone. You're addicted to being on social media to check it in. Or if you're doing something great, whatever. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with posting, and I'm not against that. Because if you're happy, you want to post, you want to share with your crew or your whatever, that's fine. But constantly doing that, constantly, every single moment, everything gotta be shared, everything. And not only just share it, but you gotta check in on what everybody else is doing, like constantly. It gotta be something wrong. Let me tell you something. I watched this show. I forgot what it was called. Was it called The Social Experiment or The Social something? Anyway, it was a show. I believe it was on Netflix, and it was about these people that's into this tech world, the social medias, the Facebooks, the platforms, the different stuff or whatever. And a lot of the programmers of the platform and a lot of creators of the platform, they admitted that they banned their own children from going on the platforms. They themselves didn't really go on the platform because they understand the controlling factor that's there. They understand how it can monopolize so much of your valuable time. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but we're not getting younger. Time is precious, valuable. Most time is one of the most precious commodities that we have. Because it's something that nobody else can give back to us other than God himself. So you have to be mindful that eats all of your time up. I mean, you could be up there for hours. Binging on digital platforms. It's crazy. So that's an addiction that we have to be mindful of. I'm going to give you one more. And I'm going to come back with this one because I actually have a few more. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to give you, one more for the sake of time. Last one, but not least, a shopping addiction. Oh my God. So now it's easier to shop than it ever was before. Before, in order to really shop, you had to get dressed, get in your car, go to the mall or store or whatever, right? And even with that, a lot of us don't have no problem being a compulsive buyer and just in the mall, blah, blah, blah. But now, I can literally grab my phone and click what I want to click and buy it, and it's at my house in seconds. Are you kidding me? I don't even have to get dressed. And a lot of times with the shopping addictions, you sabotage your self-care journey. Now, here we go. You're feeding into your compulsiveness. That's number one. Number two, a lot of times you're feeding like your boredom or like anxiety with this shopping addiction. A lot of things that we need, and I'm the first to admit this. I ain't pointing fingers at nobody. You know how much stuff is in my closet now that still have tags on it? Like, really? How many coats can one person have? I'm not even going to discuss the shoes that's in my closet right now. I'm not. I'm just not. My point that I'm making is that sometimes we overbuy to compensate for something that we're lacking mentally. Sometimes something we're lacking emotionally. Something we're lacking psychologically. And this is something that we should give a consideration to. If you're serious about your self-care journey, you have to pay attention to the things that's pulling you away from taking that 100% seriously. I'm saying this not to you, but to myself as well. Anything that beckons your attention. Let's look. I want to give you the Webster's definition of addiction. Let's see the definition of addiction, because it's so many, and there's so many definitions, even a psychological definition. Let me see. So I'm gonna give you two definitions of addiction. I'm gonna give you the Oxford definition, and I'm gonna give you a psychological definition. So the Oxford definition of addiction is the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. Dependency, it says. I don't like that one. Let's go Webster. Let me go Webster. Because I don't like definitions that use the word in the definition. Here we go. This is a psychological definition. Listen to this one. So, addiction is defined as a compulsive, chronic, psychological, physiological need or habit for a habit-forming substance, behavior, or activity having harmful physical, psychological, social effects and typically causing well-defined symptoms such as anxiety, irritability, tremors, nausea, etc. I said good night. A compulsive, chronic, physiological or psychological need for a habit-forming substance. Like when you gotta get it. I said a long time ago, and I'm gonna stop this conversation because we rolling over, and I'm gonna come back with my next set of addictions. But this is the first set. Let me tell you something. I said to myself a long time ago, I don't want to be addicted to anything other than God Himself. I don't want to need to have it for nothing and no one in this world other than God Himself. That's it. Everything else, I know me. I have an addictive personality. It don't take me long to grab on and start latching on and stuff quickly anyway. That's just me. I know me. So I stay away from a lot of things. I'm going to table this conversation for this moment because we're going to have part 2 of this conversation. I have like 5 or 6 more other addictions that we got to be mindful when it comes to our self-care journey. Self-care is the best care. And if it is the best care, that means we have to be mindful to remove things that's stopping the best care for us. That's the best care for us. And sometimes we are our own worst enemy. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes it's us. Sometimes I don't even need an intervention. It's me. And when we identify that, then we can recognize it. Because, a lot of times we're in denial and we don't even acknowledge when we're having an issue. But once you recognize what it is, we can begin to be mindful and start making some changes towards that end. I want to thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation. I've been trying to make the conversations about 15 minutes or so. I'm trying to make them 10, 15. It's like 24 minutes. I know went over. I apologize. But sometimes it gets so good, But I thank you for joining us. If you've heard anything, please share it with someone who you love or you care about, who think it may benefit. And thank you so much for joining this Bojoul channel. This is the home of self-care, beauty, wellness, and every and anything to help you to become the most powerful version of yourself. I appreciate you for joining again, and thank you. And remember that self-care is the best care. Later.